peripherals in gaming are nothing new. Some have proven to be awesome and others, well, let's just say we'd rather forget about them. While the Nintendo Switch has a bunch of awesome accessories, as with any gaming system, there are some that are just flat out lackluster. Terrible. Dare we say, should be illegal? Well, that might be taking it a tad too far. Some of these accessories have offended or eluded Switch gamers since the system came out. So today we are counting down a list of the more ludicrous and dumb accessories that shouldn't really exist, with our list of the top 10 Nintendo Switch accessories that should be illegal. Most are for the lazy at heart, so do not get offended if you fall into that category and find yourself wanting one of these accessories. Bless your soul. Let's get to it. At number 10, Splatoon 2 Hori Headphones. Back in 2017, the official Japanese Splatoon Twitter account proudly announced this atrocity, Splatoon 2 Hori Headphones, which requires the player to not only connect to your Switch, but also to connect to your smartphone at the same time. Why? Well, it's to enable voice chat and in-game audio. As you can tell with the provided illustrations, it's way more of a hassle than it's worth. You'd think that with the kinds of technology readily available to us and the fact that gaming headphones work perfectly well with PCs and other consoles and allow you to have audio and be able to chat at the same time, maybe Hori would, come up with an easier way to execute this. But fear not, friends, it does come in neon pink, so that really makes everything alright, doesn't it? And at number 9, the T-Stand. The T-Stand is one of many objects on this list that almost make being lazy an art form. So the T-Stand is a stand. Duh. For you to attach to your Switch. It can also be used for tablets, which kinda makes more sense considering tablets like the iPad don't really give you the easily accessible option of connecting it to a television or to play games on it. Wait, these people know that they can connect their Switch to televisions, right? On the flip side of this, perhaps if you don't own a TV or monitor, the T-Stand does, come in handy. It just seems a tad redundant to those of you who do own one though. In addition to that, how often do you really think you're going to want to lie down and balance your Switch on your stomach with one of these things? To be fair, the stand when used on a surface that isn't one's body is quite convenient, but like we said, potentially redundant. And at number 8, the Pokeball Plus. Alright, so this might be a controversial opinion. With the release of the Nintendo Switch Pokemon games Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Nintendo announced that players could get their own Pokeball, in the form of a Joy-Con alternate. Here's the thing though, it's sort of a major gimmick, and many felt that it made it more difficult to play the game, with the controller feeling quite awkward to use aside from when, you're miming tossing it at a Pokemon on your screen. You can store a Pokemon in it and take it with you, kind of like the Pokewalker from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and while you walk around, if you shake the Pokeball Plus, it'll make a sound and it'll vibrate and stuff. While this feature may be useful for those of you playing Pokemon Go, for those of you invested in it for the Let's Go games, it kinda seems gimmicky at best. Like, what's the point? And at number 7, the Switch Pro Controller. Okay, hear us out on this one. In terms of functionality, we have got no complaints. Instead, the reason why the Pro Controller landed on our list is purely aesthetic. Yes, we are shallow about our game accessories, what's it to you? So the Pro Controllers have been criticized by some as being quite visually unappealing, especially considering that the system it's used for has one of the best designs on the market as far as console gaming is concerned. Instead of looking like an actual official Nintendo licensed accessory, it looks like a third-party controller, and one that toppled its way out of the early 2000s. While it may be comfortable to hold, it's still an eyesore, and for those of you who prefer style over functionality, looking into other Joy-Con options that mimic the typical positioning of a console controller is definitely a better option. Up next, number 6, the Nintendo Labo. So here's another one that we're asking you to hear us out on. So in theory, the Nintendo Labo is pretty darn great, but in practice, it can flounder a bit. For starters, the game meets cardboard peripherals failed to pull in the big bucks for the Switch last year on the level that Nintendo had anticipated. It fell short of expectations for the company. Why? Well, 2 reasons. The first is the price point. Certain Labo kits cost more than some of the games for the Switch do, with the robot kit being $79.99 and the variety kit $69.99. In addition to that, if not properly built, or if you're a parent who has a kid who requires their toys to be durable, because kids and whatnot break. If your Labo Toy-Con's broke, the solution is to simply buy another. That adds up, people. While it's an excellent idea and one that we really rallied behind because of its outside-of-the-box creativity, it really floundered quite a bit on the market, and didn't prove to be as great of a success as the company and many gamers had hoped for. Now there are solutions to this problem and how Nintendo could reinvent the Labo, but that is for a whole other video. Moving on to number 5, dbrand skins. Skins for your console and controllers can be an appealing little aesthetic accessory. Who doesn't want to jazz up or personalize their stuff sometimes? If you fall into that category when it comes to wanting to spice up your Joy-Cons, finding a reliable skin brand could offer up a challenge. And for some customers, that challenge was oh so real. Back in 2017, a company called dbrand was selling a bunch of nifty looking skins for Joy-Cons and the system itself. A ton of people had placed pre-orders for the company's skins, but before they even got their hands on them, the company announced that they were refunding all of those orders upon discovering that their skins, once removed, really messed with the coating on the system. The adhesive really damaged both the Joy-Cons and the console. The company also made a note of advising people to not buy a skin for their Switch in general because of this issue. I mean, hey, at least they were honest about it. And at number 4, the gooseneck tablet mount. If you thought the T-stand was prime laziness achieved, move it the f over, because this one is exponentially more lazy. Or I guess better if you're one of those people who is striving to achieve ultimate laziness. Anywho, this little guy is the Tri-One gooseneck tablet mount stand holder thing. It's got a very long name on Amazon. It also allows you to attach a clip to a surface like a desk and then attach your Switch's screen. Also, you don't have to hold it while you're using your Joy-Cons. Once again, seems kind of dumb when it comes to using it for a Switch. With a tablet or an ebook reader, sure, makes sense. But when you're already playing a game on a screen that small and your hands are already holding Joy-Cons, why on earth is this necessary? Also, you can have a more elevated eye line while you play, or to avoid slumping over and screwing with your posture. Maybe just work on having better posture? And at number 3, the V-Grip. There are many solutions out there when it comes to making your Joy-Cons feel more like a traditional console controller. You might buy the super comfy but slightly frumpy looking Pro controller that we mentioned earlier. You could buy Joy-Con controller handles, which are quite small and cheap and pretty good to use. Hell, if you wanted to go retro, you could buy the GameCube controller and adapter for it. There's a lot of things you could do. But you could also buy this thing. Introducing the V-Grip. The V-Grip makes little to no sense at all. It's described as this. An ergonomically optimized gamepad improves a gamer's precision, especially when playing for extended periods. The slightly angled design of the Joy-Con adapted relieves strain on the wrists, putting less pressure on the gamer. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but it's rare that I ever feel any kind of strain when I game with my Switch in general. But hey, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Our next 2 numbers on this list are laziness at its prime. For starters, our number 2 is the Switch Visor. The Switch Visor is essentially what happens when someone decides that they want to copy Google Cardboard and see what it would be like to have your Nintendo Switch strapped to your face. Thanks to 3D printing, it became a possibility. According to the Switch Visor's creator, a NeoGAF user named Fox, I quote, "There have been other people that have used clamps and mounts connected to beds and stuff, but that seemed less ideal to me. The benefits to having a head mount for the Switch is that the orientation is always correct no matter which way you are laying. Heaven forbid that I can't play a game in one of my favorite laying positions." Moving on. And finally, in at number 1, comfortable hands-free stand. The only thing more absurd than the Switch Visor is the comfortable hands-free stand. This shit is gold, and potentially the dumbest Switch accessory to ever hit the market. Created by a game developer in Japan, this contraption is a mount for your Switch that connects to a piece that you attach to your body, wearing it around your neck. Also, you can walk around wherever your heart desires and not hold your Switch. Or rather, hold the screen. I'm sorry, but it's like really not that heavy to begin with, and if you're already holding Joy-Cons, why not just walk around with it? Mounting it when you want to lay down or sit is like one thing, but this mount was built specifically for 360 mobility, which seems so insane considering the mount itself looks heavier and more inconvenient to lug around on your neck than just holding your Switch would be. The fact that its name literally features the words comfortable and hands-free just speaks volumes too. What other Nintendo Switch accessories have you found difficult to use or absolutely despise? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one, but arguably less mean about products. In the meantime though, thanks for watching friends, I'll catch you all in the next video.